Chapter 9, Modal Auxiliaries or Modal Verbs. Modal auxiliaries generally express speakers' attitudes. For example, modals can express that a speaker feels something is necessary, advisable, permissible, possible, or probable. And in addition, they can convey the strength of those attitudes. Each modal has more than one meaning or use, and that is very confusing for foreigners. These are the ones we will cover: can, could, may, might, must, ought to, shall, should, will, and would. Let's see the structure of modal verbs. Modals do not have the inflection S when the subject is she, he, or it. That is confusing for foreigners because they're so accustomed to change that in every verb, and then when they come across a modal verb, they don't understand why. Those are special verbs. So, for he, she, and it, you have to say can, should, etc. with bare infinitive. Phrasal models. They are common expressions with similar meaning to those of some of the modal auxiliaries. For example, to be able to do it, can, be going to do it, will, be supposed to do it, should, have to do it, must, have got to do it, must, had better do it, should or ought to, used to do it, would. It's very important that when you teach modal verbs, you focus on the meaning. So can, or to be able to, they both express ability. Here you have a modal verb, and here you have phrasal modals. May, could, can, or will express request. In the present, must and have to express necessity or obligation. In the past, you have had to with the same meaning. To express suggestion, you can use should, could, shall, and in the past, you can use should have plus past participle. To ask for permission, you can use can or may. Recommendation, should, ought to, had better. Possibility or probability, you can use can, may, might, or will. In expectation, should or be supposed to. Make sure you show this chart to your students. Let's see the structure of modal verbs. Modals do not take the inflection S, as we said before, for he, she, and it. This is an incorrect sentence. That's why you have this symbol here. Students will try to say she can jumps instead of she can jump. So you need to be very clear that none of them take the inflection S. Two modals cannot be used together in the same sentence. Students will try to say they will can fly. No, you need to teach them to say maybe, if they want to express that, they will be able to fly. Could plus present, although the idea is past. This is confusing too. The message is in the past, but you need to use after could, you use the verb in the present. Students will try to say John could hear the bell instead of John could hear the bell, which is the correct way. Another problem students face is with the right meaning, because depending on the situation, the modal verb can have different meanings. For instance, must. If I say you must be here at 8, I mean it's an obligation. But if I say you must not drink the water, it's not an obligation, it's a prohibition. And if I say you must not be a native speaker, it's a deduction. To express a request, you have lots of different modal verbs you could use. And sometimes they could be a little bit different between one another, or one is more formal than the other. For instance, may I and could I are used to request permission, and they are equally polite. Can I is used informally. It is usually considered a little less polite than may I and could I. Could you and would you have the same meaning? The difference is very slight. If I use would you, I mean, do you want to do this, please? But if I say could you, I mean, do you want to do this, please? And is it possible for you to do it? Another thing that is very confusing, and I remember the first time I heard, I quite did not understand, is when you ask questions with would you mind? For instance, would you mind closing the window? Or would you mind if I close the window? The answer is no, not at all, if you are willing to do that or if it's okay to do that. And for a foreigner, it sounds like you're saying no, but actually you're saying yes. That is very confusing. To express necessity or obligation, you have to or must or have got to. What is the difference? In everyday statements of necessity, have to is used more commonly than must. Must is stronger than have to and can indicate urgency or stress importance. Have got to is informal and it's used primarily in spoken English. For example, I have to get up early tomorrow. And actually, most of the time you'd say, I have to get up early tomorrow. This is something you need to tell your students, that although you write, I have to get up, you say, I have to get up. She has to go to a meeting. Most of the time you'd say, has to go. She has to go. I must get up early tomorrow or I will miss the bus. I have got to go now. This is very informal, generally used in spoken English. To express suggestion, you can use should, could. What is the difference? Could offers suggestions of possibilities. Should gives definite advice. We could go on a picnic or we should go on a picnic. That concludes chapter 9.